People, answer me. Why do they savage and ravage each other so much? Why don't they care about the babies they're killing? And when it's done, they put religion in front. But it's just a problem with the evil mind. No, there ain't no excuses for taking life. You'll never make it free the way you wanna be. Answer me. Can you see all the tears and the times we're leaving me? Oh yes, you would have to be blind not to see what's happening. Oh, around. Yeah. No, there ain't no excuses for taking life. This is the reality. This is the reality. To bring about sobriety. Bring about sobriety. This is the reality. This is the reality. To bring about sobriety. Bring about sobriety. Oh, people. Let me get you see. People. Let me get you see. People. What is going on? People. Answer me. Can you see all the tears and the times we're leaving me? Oh yes, you would have to be blind not to see what's happening. Oh, around. Yeah. No, there ain't no excuses for taking life. No, this is the reality. This is the reality. To bring about sobriety. Bring about sobriety. This is the reality. This is the reality. To bring about sobriety. Bring about sobriety. People, let me get you see. People, let me get you see. People, what is going on? People, oh, 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 oh,
For the friendly faith, culture that we are safe. Forward to my roots, we are trapped through the valley of death, conquer that mentally. Take a little whiff of the bun for me, Charlie, from the Charlie, take me higher than a Kilimanjaro. Touch the anointed and you won't be sorry. Enough in me heart covenant that me carry. Me now go walk in a turnstile alley, cause the turnstile alley man them deal with folly. Hey, them never remember them forefather. That's where they give from them grandmother. The things that you learned from your ancestors will guide you through tomorrow. True to my roots, my roots and culture. Got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. True to my roots and culture. Got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. Hey, me dancing me food and me no in a no kitchen. Straight from the farm in a me Dutching and me kitchen. Everybody waiting and everybody wishing we could take a little taste out of me whole time cooking. So what's up juice in the fridge just a chilling. Mama teach me fish here, so with that Freddy willing. Pot full of you, then everybody eating. So me keep up the culture, give thanks for the blessing. True to my roots, my roots and culture. Got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. True to my roots, my roots and culture. Got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. Youth man don't stray. See that time slipping away. Hold your vibe, hold your meditation. Roots and culture fi stay forward to my roots. Me a trot through the valley. Valley of the conquer that mentally. Take a little whiff from that bun fi me jolly. Me jolly take me higher than a Kilimanjaro. Touch the anointed and you bound fi sorry. Enough in me heart covenant that me carry. Me now go walk in a turnstile alley, cause the turnstile alley man them deal with folly. So them never remember them forefather. That's where they get from them grandmother. Things that you learned from your ancestor will guide you through tomorrow. True to my roots and culture. And now, got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. True to my roots and culture. Got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. True to my roots and culture. Where I get you, got to stay far from the reach of the vulture. Are you ready? 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 Are you ready?
When the roll is called out, I'll be standing taller to face the darkest and the hardest of times. We'll be taking care of all the children thereof, but if it's required, we'll be on the front line. You can call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever have doubt. Never say never, willingness forever to fight and be strong. Once it's for better, I'll write every letter and moving right along. And I'll roll with the punches, accept changes, work with the formula, do what I have to do, and call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. Lioness is on the rise, don't you ever have doubt. When you are willing to serve, we have room to observe, to see if you can walk the walk you talk. Let me give you my word, my voice must be heard. Bravery is a piece of my heart. call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. A lioness is on the rise. Don't ever let no count out. When the roll is called up, we'll be standing taller to face the darkness and the hardest of time. We'll be taking care of all the children thereof. But if it's required, we'll be on the front line. You can call me by my name, I am ready to roll. Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Oh, me, never, anytime, lioness is on the run. Oh, yeah.
Grand risings, one and all.
Once the rules remain the same, how the story's been told. Call me anytime, never cop out. A lioness is on the run, ready to roll. Call me by my name.
Lalabeng, oh yes, and I say yes now, the lion in plan again. Oh, Rampanana no, neither is my skin. You hear me now, man, I say yes now, the mountain lion in plan again. Oh, the ram of the dance hall and all is here.
Yes, good help. Yes, good help. The vibes is there today.
A righteousness me come fit teach. And judge Allah me nah go preach. And me nah come to kill no teeth. Tell the fish stop feed and the bloody meat. A strictly vegetable, mankind should eat. Me say yes now, the lion is gone again. Oh, Rampanana no, neither just no skin. You hear me now, man, I me say yes now, the lion is gone again. Oh, the ram of the dance hall and I see through them. Yes, I've been through a lot of tribulation, but I never changed my mind. Said I face a lot of disrespect, but I always keep on trying. But to the help and the power of the Most High, I said my life will keep on shining. I said the heathen don't want to fight inside. They cannot take what is mine. I may say yes now, the lion is born again. The ram of the dance hall and I can see through them. I may say yes now, the lion is born again. We ram up the dance hall and I can see through them. Many times I feel I won't falter. Put down this plan by the altar. But through the help and the powers of the Most High, save my life.
Social media influencer. What's up, y'all? My name is Lawrence Robinson. I'm an actor, father. Yeah.
What's up, guys? My name is Anthony Clark. I'm a certified life and love coach and an author.
Yeah, so today we're going to be discussing mental health, physical health, and I just want you guys to tell me, and anybody can start. I want you to tell me when you recognized that you needed help, right? You were at your lowest, and I want you to tell me maybe who is the one that helped you recognize that.
I'll go ahead and start. So there was a period of time where, I had moved to California. I'm out here working my way up, the corporate ladder. And then my last job that I had, I was striving for a particular position, really, really wanted to get there. So I ended up getting this position, and a year before I got this position, my dad passed. So I'm in this position, in a new position, still dealing with that, not really realizing it, on top of being in a position where, up until that point, 18 years before, I was a man. I knew exactly what to do. I'm in this position because of my experience. However, in this particular job, this field, I don't know what's going on. I'm still learning everything. So I'm like green again. I'm like, I ain't been green for 18 years. What is this? So going through that, then I'll fast forward a little bit. I had a conversation one day. I was met a guy who had been in this position for quite some time. I was leaving work, came up on him. I'm like, hey, how's it going? Let me get some feedback from him. At this time, it was probably like 6 months in.
Yeah.
Maybe a year. And, he's telling me everything about how his day went, how his last couple of weeks have gone, and what the forecast is for the next couple of weeks. And as he's talking, I'm realizing there is no way in hell I'm gonna do this for the rest of my life. There is no way. So coming to that realization in that moment, in that conversation, driving home, having that epiphany, still the lingering effect of losing my dad. And then in the middle of this, we still doing our podcast, me and my wife and everything, vlogging and everything. And I look back, fast forwarding, up until through last year, realized I was extremely depressed. I was going through it. And I thought I was just stressed because of work. Like I lost a whole lot of weight. Yeah. I'm between 220 and 240. Right now I'm like 245. I was down to barely 200 pounds. Mm-hmm. And on me, on my frame, going back and look at it, you can tell like my face is shrunken down. And I told my wife, I was like, I was depressed right here. I was looking at a video. I was like, look at my face. I don't even look healthy.
Yeah.
And she, they don't see that. Like, you always look good, babe. Like, man, just shut up. That ain't what I'm talking about. I'm over here, like, look at me right here. So realizing that, it was like, I had that trauma of, it was like, almost like a trauma of looking back at the past and was like, dang, I went through that and I didn't even realize it.
Was it the fact that it disrupted your purpose?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, as a lot of men have this whole mindset, a lot of us, our career is us. That defines us, what we bring to the table.
Yeah.
And me being in this position, money's okay and everything, but being in this, and it's just like, but if I don't want to do this, what am I going to do with my life?
Okay.
I got a family, I got 4 kids, I got a wife, I got mortgage, I got bills. It's like, I support all of this. My wife is over here. People see her as the mogul. I'm the foundation of that. Like, I'm stable. This is what I do.
Yes.
I've done this for 20 years. This is me. And this ain't what I want to do.
And now it's gone.
And my heart is not in it. So that's when, it's gone. Like the thrill was gone. And I was just like, what? So it was like a hard conversation I had with myself. But then I realized, I hope I'm not fast forwarding it, but I realized every single time I've made an elevation in my career, an elevation in life, God was always the forefront of that. And I realized he always makes me uncomfortable enough to move. So I move myself. Amen. It ain't like I pray for it and God's like, oh, here you go.
Yeah.
It's like, no, God's like, no, I'm gonna make you uncomfortable enough to where you can do this. You end up doing this yourself. I'm gonna push you out of that place you don't want to be in. And that's what he was doing. And that was what, fast forward now, that's what moved me to retire from my 9-to-5 last year in May and work for me and my wife full time.
Yeah.
So now self-employed. But I ended up going through all that because I never would have stepped away from my 9-to-5 because that's what I do. That hands-on, I structural and tech, I do all that stuff all day. But did I enjoy it? No, I was just good at it.
Yeah. Can I just, speaking of purpose, right? I just kind of wanted to table it to Anthony because it seems like all the things throughout your life has kind of culminated to the moment where you and your wife got together. Now you guys are life coaches, right? It's because you've had a very interesting story.
Yeah, you could have life if you want to be a life coach.
Exactly. So can you tell me about that point where you kind of reached that low point and you were like, something has to change at this moment?
So for me, there were a couple of moments like that in my life. So I had like multiple breakdowns. Well, I like to call them catharsis that I went through. The first one was I moved to California, I played sports, and I moved from Brooklyn to California to go to college at 17. And immediately I met my college girlfriend. And we moved in together, and I saw that we weren't compatible, but I stuck with it anyway. But we started fighting like cats and dogs. We're both stubborn. And so we broke up. We were doing an X-sex, make up, break up. And she said she was pregnant with twin boys. At the time, I had an opportunity to play pro basketball in Peru and pro baseball with the Brewers, AA baseball. So I was ready to go to camp, and she comes back and goes, I'm pregnant. And even though we weren't connected, my father wasn't there for me. So I'm like, I'm always gonna be there for my kids, even though I feel like I shouldn't be with her. So I married her anyway. So in the process, I had to give up the sports because she needed help right then and there. So I couldn't report to camp. So to make a long story short, I married her. The twins were born, named after me. The first 3 years, we just fought, me and her, still like cats and dogs, and it just hit rock bottom. It was like, this ain't gonna work. Then I found out that I wasn't the biological father after all of that. So here I am in my 20s, like 21, 23 at the time.
Pain.
Lost the marriage, athletic career, my whole future. So it was like rock bottom.
Yeah.
I even thought about killing myself at different points. But then my spirit was like, you know what? This could be a blessing. This could be an opportunity for you. But in order for you to take advantage of it, you got to get your shit together. You got to stop blaming everybody else and start looking at yourself.
Yeah.
And so I started doing my inner work.
Okay, so what does that look like? Because a lot of people say inner work, but I don't know what be working in her. You know what I'm saying? You got to tell me what that means.
My inner work was to be honest with myself and to look at how I was, how I thought, and to start questioning, is this really benefiting me? Why am I being like this? Why do I act like this? And the tendency for a lot of people is to be like, well, that's just the way I am. But I knew if I stay the way I am, I'm not gonna get to where I wanna be. So I always say, like, to go there, you gotta grow there. You're on this level, you're always trying to get to high levels of understanding, enlightenment, wealth, you name it. So how are you gonna get to those other levels? They ain't gonna come to you, you gotta go to it. So I gotta expand and get out of my old way of thinking and being. And so I recreated myself. And I describe it like, and this connects to even a second trauma, so I'm gonna combine them together. I went into the Department of Corrections as a state correctional officer, and I was involved in a shooting. And after that shooting, I experienced post-traumatic stress. So now it goes back to the inner work. How am I gonna get out of this? The same way with the marriage, with that, now the shooting. So I compare it to a pantry cabinet. And everything in that pantry cabinet has been there throughout my entire life. The salt, shaking. These are all my beliefs, all the things I was programmed to be and this and that. But it wasn't working for me. But I didn't really realize it. Then one day there's this traumatic event, the marriage, the divorce, the shooting, where there's an earthquake and everything gets knocked over. And so that's the breakdown. Now you lose your identity. Who am I? Like you, it forced me. That catharsis, the system breaks down when it takes too much pressure. Eventually it's gonna break down. But it breaks down to give you an opportunity to rebuild it back even better. So with my catharsis, it was like, okay, what most people try to do is to go back to what they were. So let me put the stuff back in here, but you're gonna get the same life again. So I was like, you know what? No, this is a great opportunity. I have the opportunity now to create the life I wanna live. I wanna be who I wanna be, not because of what other people expect of me. I'm gonna be my true self. I'm going to spirit within. So that connection, because that's the internal guidance system where everything you need, all the answers, it's gonna come from there. God, whatever name you wanna call it. So most people trying to get it out there, it's not out there. There's nothing out there. Right. It's in here. So if you don't go within, you will go without.
Listen to that. Listen to it.
I like that.
So what I started doing was I started putting this pantry back. I wasn't trying to recreate the same one. I wanted to create a pantry that I loved, a pantry that I was proud of. And so I'm putting the stuff back, like, what is this? Dude, this shit ain't good. I don't need that. Let me throw it out of the way. What is this? This is, I don't need that. What do I want there? I want this there. I want that there. So when I was done, I rebuilt this amazing pantry cabinet, an amazing life that I loved. And so the marriage and that, I did the same thing with each situation. And I came back better and stronger.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
You want to add, Lawrence?
I mean, I ain't gonna never look at a pantry ever the same again. I'm just looking at the seasonings like,
you ain't got no sage in here.
which one is from Philly? Which season is from New York?
He's in the Old Bay.
I'm just looking at all my seasonings, looking at all, like, naming all the trauma.
Turmeric, huh? Okay.
I don't even like turmeric.
Man, that was good, man. I'm triggered. I ain't gonna hold you. I'm triggered, man. Because, like, I'm so similar to both of you guys. It's like, as far as I had to recreate myself every time I moved to a different city. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Philly, born and raised, but then I had to move to New York City. you gotta recreate yourself, but you gonna go home. You know what I'm saying? Then moving to LA, it was the same thing. And what was really hard for me was, you know, being a full-time actor and believing that this is what I wanted to do with myself, and it was my dream. I had to 100% commit to that. And with 100% committed to acting is dealing with financial struggle. Because if you in acting class, you gonna miss work. But if you don't work, you're gonna miss acting class. So it's like, you gotta find that balance. And finding that balance is the hardest thing when it becomes being an actor. Like, it's the hardest thing because you just gotta find that, you gotta be able to figure out which is more, it's like, I wanna say what is more important. Yeah, what is more important at the time. And of course, she always comes to my mind. My acting coach, my big sis, you know, Tasha Smith, she gonna come to my mind because, and when I got to LA, her being my coach, she would always say to me, you have to find a way to sustain yourself. You have to find a way. And she would always say that to me. And when you broke, it's like, I ain't trying to hear that.
Yeah,
like,
I'm surviving.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And then being so close to somebody like that, you know, people think that that was a relationship that was, you know, that I was born into. Like, no, that was, you know, that was something that God gave me when I moved here. But that's what I was doing before I even got here. That's what I was doing in New York. I was trying to find a way to sustain myself. And I don't think I ever knew how to put a word to it. But of course she does. You know what I'm saying? So the reality is, every time when it came to recreate myself, I hit rock bottom. And hitting rock bottom is not being able to pay your rent, not being able to pay your bills. And when I hit rock bottom, I always go to God. I go to God. But I've never learned how to go to God until I moved to LA and I went to One Church LA with Sarah Jakes Roberts and Torrey Roberts. That's when I learned, like, you know, it was just different going to that church. That church showed me, you know, when people say, oh, that's the Hollywood church, call it what you want, because that church feeds me. You know what I'm saying? And that church feeds me because it's relatable. It's not judgmental. It's just like the truth of like, yo, like, you know, Sarah won't get up there and talk about auditions.
Yeah.
And she's not an actress, but she know what we're going through.
Yeah.
And yeah, man, it's just about like just really going back to God. That's always where I lead. That's always where I go.
And I think it's something beautiful about being able to lean on a community. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I know, Kariga, like,
Are you taking these gems? Are you taking these gems down right now?
And even if I don't answer, like, I'm like, man,
we're here on the galaxy.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know you're calling
Are you taking
me to
these
a community
gems
and pulling me to a place where you believe better, right? You know, about the people that you want to interact with. But I think it's because, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but your foundation, you know, with your family and having such a close-knit community with your brothers, and now, you know, to see how you and your wife, you know what I mean, collaborating the music and all this stuff, you add to this conversation.
Yeah, I'm listening deeply, processing, and I'm looking at like men on different intersections of life that I'm at. So I'm grateful for the conversation, but I'm also assessing myself within the cipher. And when he started talking about that pantry, I was like, what made him choose the pantry? It's such an interesting place, right? And I do exercise of taking inventory, but my wife would love for me to take better care of the pantry, right? I know that, and I try. But it really made me look at him on an intersection like, damn, homie taking care of the pantry. At least the pantry's organized. Figuratively and literally though, but like living in the partnership. And that place in life, Marcus, when you're talking about like, you know, being in a career, X amount of years and just looking at it like, yo, it's different now. Or whether recreating yourself and finding that rock bottom and evolving and finding that rock bottom and finding God. And I'm listening to the conversation and the question, and I'm trying to ask myself like, damn, when is it? When was it? Where am I now?
Yeah.
Right? I'm certainly in a mind state of abundance. I'm not at rock bottom, but the blows that took me to the deepest waters, it almost felt like I could not find rock bottom. Rock bottom would have been stable ground.
Wow, that's deep.
Rock bottom would have been a certain turning point. I've been in the open. I've been in the deep waters, posturing myself for seeing different, seeing abundance, like training my mind to be the first mind that sees abundance and calls abundance rather than being the first voice that creates doubt. But the doubts come from lived experiences. The doubts come from, losing my brother in 2014, gun violence, and the way that the way that it exists around us so much. Yeah. But my intersection of life is I'm not far from it. And also looking at, like, in a recent conversation, I finally was able to articulate that you can't just address me by any one situation that's happened to me.
Wow.
You'll have to address me or have a conversation with me about what has happened to me, but you also must address me as a man that's kept going. It's in my keep going. That's where you find way more about my faith, my intimacy, and really who God is in my life. It's not in my bottom moments. It's in the tenacity, the will to keep going, to keep striving. And it's not like bullish either. Sometimes it's just like this gentle, like relentless incrementalism. But I can't stay here. So when Anthony said, but I can't stay here, this is an invitation to create something new, meet myself a new way. But that does mean that perhaps everything you once was familiar with will no longer be. Who am I outside of this experience?
Wow.
So I think I'm asking myself that question real time, real life. And I am framing the habits of mind to tell myself, like, you can't pray with a double mind. So my mind has to be solid even when I'm praying to God. If I'm praying with doubt, I'm the double-minded person. So I train myself to remember
Let me say yes now, the lion is born again. Ramp and I know, neither just my skin. You hear me now? Man, I me say yes now, the mountain lion is born again. To ram up the dance hall and I see you through them. A long time I have come, but I just a reach. A righteousness me come fi teach. And Jajala me nah go preach. I me nah come to kill no teeth. Tell them fi stop feed on the bloody meat. A strictly vegetable, mankind should eat. Me say yes now, the lion is born again. Long for nine loaf, neither just no skin. You hear me now? Man, I me say yes now, the lion is born again. The ram of the dance hall and I see it through them. Yes, I've been through a lot of tribulation, but I never changed my mind. He said I face a lot of disrespect, but I always keep on trying. But through the help and the powers of the Most High, I said my life will keep on shining. I said the heathen don't want to fight inside. They cannot take what is mine. I may say yes now, the lion is born again. The ram of the dance hall and I can see you through them. I may say yes now, the lion is born again. The ram of the dance hall and I can see you through them. Ladder them. Many times I feel I won't falter. Put down this plan by the altar. But through the help and the powers of the Most High, I said my life will keep on shine. And now I'm moving up the ladder, stepping up the ladder, moving up the ladder, straight to the top. Moving up the ladder, stepping up the ladder, moving up the ladder. Now turn back, me say yes now. The lion is born again. Ladder bend. Ramp and I love, neither just no skin. You hear me, man? Man, I me say yes now. The lion is born again. Oh, to ram up the dance floor and on the stage show them. Oh, a long time I have come, but I just a reach. A righteousness we come to teach. And Chachala we not go preach. And we not come to kill no teeth. Tell them to stop feed on the bloody meat. A strictly vegetable, mankind should eat. Me say yes, the lion in gone again. La again. Rampant and enough, neither just no skin. Hear me now, me say yes, the lion in gone again. Hear me now, rampant and enough, neither just no skin.
Yes, wow, it's a hard journey, hard journey, hard journey. Might be hard to listen to, but it's the real facts, the real facts. First of all, let's do our greetings. Let's do our greetings. We give thanks and give honor to all those who have been, to those who are present, and to those who are to come. The essence of those who have set the foundations, our icons, our families, our associates. We say thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who are here, who are creating, who are evolving, who are showing the higher and higher level of living and being, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. For those who are in the learning and the evolving and the growing, and those who will explode into the new future, we say thank you, thank you, thank you. We call upon the spirit or the essence of those who have been around, and we bring the essence of teaching and learning. We open ourselves to this on this day, the 17th of the 7th, 2023. We call upon them to fill the hearts, the minds, the souls of those who are in need of sustenance at this time. Each and every one of us at one stage has needed something, someone, somewhere that we can call peace. And that is all that we seek. We seek peace in all of our being and all of our doings. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. It is done. Welcome, welcome, welcome to the galaxyofwe.net. Welcome, one and all. Welcome. Lines are open. I'm going to say the lines are open early this morning here. Mainly because I want to get this conversation out here right off, kicking it off right from the start, right? Because it's two subjects. Well, I say two incidences that I would like to share with you. What happened to me over the last few days. Right. Where do I start? Okay. Here it is. I met a brother that I've known for quite a long time. And it was a chance meeting that I bumped into this brother. And we was He was just there in the bar, and he just happened to walk on by, and when he was walking in, and I asked, how you doing? And he says, "Oh, I'm doing fine," as he would. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, no, there's something not right. It's when you do that automatic, I'm doing fine. All right. So he got himself a coffee, literally coffee. And then I invited him to sit down with me, because he wasn't going to sit down with me directly initially. I hope you're hearing this properly. Here we go. Yeah. So in him sitting down, it was relating to me what was going on for him, and I hadn't seen him since the beginning of the year, and I know that he was going through some struggles at that time. And he shared with me that the struggles is still going on. In fact, it's even got worse. And I would say, a man in this day and age is an extremely vulnerable person. Not vulnerable in the sense of that they are open to being attacked. Not that way. I mean that there is absolutely no support for them in any way whatsoever. The brother relate to me, right? That he's literally homeless. He's homeless. I said, what? And he said, yeah. And then he went through some of the things that he had experienced, and how he's trying to survive, how he is literally existing at this time, And when I say this brother is on the street, he's literally on the street. He's literally traveling and riding on buses all day. He's just riding on the bus all day. He's literally just moving from one squat to another squat all day, every day, and trying to catch sleep wherever he can, But at the same time, he's trying to hold his dignity. He's trying to hold his dignity together. My heart dropped. My heart was just dropped. I was lost for words. And then he explained to me, he said that, it's not working mainly because he's just not in the mind. He doesn't have the mindset to actually be working right now. He doesn't have the strength within him to put himself into that position of being, into the work environment. So the doctor that has been to him he's given him a certification for a period of time. And I asked him, what else have they done to ensure your well-being? Right? And he said nothing. He says that there's no one out there who's actually doing anything for us as homeless people. And I said, well, how are you going to be able to get back into like even an accommodation, like like even say a hostel or something? And he said, you just have to wait until they see that there's a space. And he says in the borough where he's living, right, or where what he's allocated to, there's nothing available at all. There's nothing available at all around, you know. And I thought, wow, wow. And yet they will be, if you know of the boroughs, they are spending monies on entertainment, you know, arts and things like this, and they're talking about thousands and thousands of pounds, and yet there are people who are homeless in their own boroughs, and these individuals are there. And he said that if you actually knew how many were homeless, you'd be shocked. You know, that it seems like almost every other person that I see or that he sees, right, is in that state of being homeless. Yeah. So, you know, and as he was relating or relaying his as he was relaying his I'm sorry. As he's relaying the things that were happening to him, and you know the challenges that he was facing, I was there listening, and I thought, wow, what is it that I can do? What can I say? And there literally was no words that I could say at the time. At the same time, we were sitting down there, we was talking, and there was this young man. I say young man, a younger man. I say younger man, right? There was this younger man, and he was walking by, and he looked very intensely at me. And as he looked intensely at me, I caught his gaze, and I thought, why is this person looking at me? And then, like, does he recognize me from somewhere or something like that, you know? And then, you know, he went by and he sat down. And then a few minutes later, I saw him again, and he's doing exactly the same thing, and he's looking at me intensely. Yeah. And I'm looking at him, and I'm thinking, there's a reason why he's looking at me, right? The third time he came back, and I said, is this something you want to ask? Is this something you want to ask me? Right? And he said, yeah. How are you? You all right? And I said, yes, I'm okay. I'm okay. And what it was, the reason why he asked me, right, is because I was dressed in a suit. Right? Just a shirt and a suit. I'd come from a christening. I was on the way back, returning from a christening. See? So obviously he was curious to see, why was this black man dressed in a suit, you know? And then he started to relate. He said, well, and I said, well, how are things for you? And then instead of saying, oh, yeah, they're fine or whatever, and carrying on, he literally started to tell us what was going on. Both of us, tell us both what was going on for him. And he related that, you know, boy, things are just really difficult right now. Difficult right now. And I said, yes. And I go, so how are they difficult for you? And he said, well, you know, I'm working, but even though I'm working, I'm trying to, you know, got my children and my wife, and it just seems like everything is just getting on top of me, you know? And I said, oh, okay. And I said, why are you allowing these things to get on top of you? And he said, I'm not allowing it. I need to do these things. I goes, no. I said, why are you allowing these things to get on top of you? And then he looked at me as if I was strange. And I just said, let me explain to you something. And I'm sharing this with the Galaxy family as well, right? There's priorities, right? And I said to him, you love your children, right? And he says, yeah. And he goes, that's why I'm working. And I go, And I goes, you love your wife? And he goes, yeah, but things ain't too good right now. And I go, I goes, do you love your job? He goes, well, I do that because, you know, it pays. I goes, okay. So who are you paying most attention to right now? And then I think the penny dropped very quickly. And he said, the job. And I goes, exactly. Your priorities are mixed up. You need to rearrange yourself, rearrange your priorities, right? And ensure that those priorities know where they are in your life, right? So you need to go and relay to them how much they mean to you and try to balance yourself, right? Because obviously you're in a state of where you're on the brink of where things are going to break for you. And he just looked at me and he went, oh, okay. And I don't know why he asked this next question. I don't know why. And he says, well, how old are you then? And I said, well, I'm 61 now. And then he just went into a shock. He was in shock. And I did say to him, I say to him, why are you in shock? Right? And the person who I was with said, you know that black don't crack. And we started laughing. And he just looked, he goes, I can't believe it. I can't believe this. And I said, yeah. Because let me tell you something now. Because if you live your life in peace and everything you do and you aim for peace, you too will have a long life. And then he just turned around and walked off. And then he took a few steps and he turned around and then he literally burst into tears. Yeah. And we consoled him and sat him down with the people he was with and everything. But it just goes to show. That I'm there and I'm talking with my friend and all that he was going through and all that he's trying to do. And then this other person came and spoke of his experience of what he was going through. And yet you would have thought that the second person would be in a better position than the first. But it shows that the strength and the resilience that we as black men, we as black women do have is far, far, far more superior, far, far, far more higher than what anybody and everybody is experiencing right now. I've literally walking along the roads here now, and I'm seeing literally people walking around with their suitcase with all their belongings. You know, the suitcase with the wheels on and stuff. They're walking around with their suitcases, right, with all of their belongings in it, right? You think, oh, they're all going on holiday. No, they're not. These people are literally homeless. Homeless. They're probably moving from one hostel to another hostel, or wherever they're going, trying to look for a home somewhere where they can sleep. Let alone the ones who have children in tow, because remember, a lot of these people, right? They probably had jobs and they lost their jobs, and then in them losing their jobs, they were unable to maintain like their rent or mortgages, right? And then remember now recently, right? All of those debts, if you're in debt, all those debts are going to be increased even more, because the interest rate is going to rise again. So therefore, your payments have to go up. So if you don't have the income to pay those debts, you are going to be in such a situation that many of us, right? Many of us are going to be suffering right now. Suffering right now. My people, we really have to be active as a community right now. We are called upon. This is the time when we have to be drawing together to ensure that we are doing the right thing right now for each other. For each other. Imagine a crisis. Can you imagine a crisis of where like your family, right, has had a devastation of their home has just been totally decimated by like a hurricane or so they have absolutely nothing. Everything is gone. Everything is gone. Right? Everything is gone. All that they had worked for and accumulated is totally gone. Both the husband and wife, they're in their 50s now. They're in their 50s. Are they going to be looking to purchase a new home? Right? Are they going to be looking to pay a new mortgage? Are they going to be able to get the work to pay those new mortgages? You see? No matter what you say and what you are asking for, no matter what you say and what you are asking for, it's just not going to be enough to catch up with anything right now. The devastation which is facing so many of us right here, right now, it can be an extreme challenge. It can be an extreme challenge. Even now, I'm here and I'm thinking, What could I have done? What could I have done? What could I have done? Because even if you say, okay, then here's some money to get a room for a couple of nights. After that, what happens? What happens then after that? I recall just a few weeks ago, there was a program of a young woman, and it was depicting a young woman who was working as a personal assistant. She was working as a personal assistant, but she couldn't afford the rent, the price of the rent to live in the area that she was working. So you can imagine now that this young woman I was working the whole day, right? Probably extensively as well, being a personal assistant. And at the end of the day, she had nowhere to actually go home. So what she was doing this Airbnb, right? That is what she was literally doing. Staying in the Airbnb, and then all of a sudden, what is going to happen? Is she going to be able to maintain the work? Because obviously, she has to present herself in a certain manner. She has to be there for work, ready to say, look, this is who I am. This is where I am at. Yeah. No. Our brothers and sisters and our youngs are really facing a challenging time right now. Right? Let's not turn our face and head away from what is actually happening here. Let's not turn our face and head away from that. Right? Our brothers and sisters are here, and we need to come together, because as I pointed out, and it was probably one of the parting remarks that I made to that brother there who I met yesterday. Our paths crossed yesterday, I should put it that way, innit? That it doesn't take much for the majority of us to be in that same position. It doesn't take much. Right? And as I said, that there was one program that, oh gosh, there's one program that I was watching, and it was prior to the Black Father Support Group show program meeting. Sorry, the meeting, and it was on the what channel was it? I'm sure it was ITV. I'm sure it was on ITV, and it was going through the economics of the time, and because of the increase of interest, they formulated this program, and it's by one of the financial advisors on there, and he was giving some predicted cost rises right? Interest rises and things and plans that you may be able to take advantage of. In many ways, it was informative. It was informative, right? But at the same time, whoo, the type of figures that you're talking about, it would decimate many a family. Decimate many a family. This is why some of us have to draw breath. We have to draw breath on a lot of these things here right now. Yes, we have to draw breath. Amazingly though, right? We are still standing. We are still rising. We are still thriving. We are still thriving. And I would say, this is the time that we need to draw close to each other. And I know I've said it a few times already this morning here on the Grand Rising show. We need to draw close to each other. First of Mosiah, we need to be more strategic in our plans. And when I say strategic, I do mean, let's think of something to do or be part of in our communities and for our communities. If you're not a part of an ongoing program or group, organization that is supporting you or that you can show support for, I would say, please, please, please get involved. Get involved. Do not feel that you can do something on your own just for yourself. Don't feel that way, please. We're going to have to change our attitudes to the me-ism and I-ism. Yeah? We're going to have to change our attitudes on those aspects, the me and the I. And we're going to have to look at the we. Because even as I do shopping, right? You go and buy some vegetables and fruits and things like this out there. And within days, those fruits and vegetables have mildew and rubbish on it and everything. Right? You have that is what is happening right now. So basically, you're paying your money and then you have to dash it where? You have to dash away the food because it rotten already. Rotten. Yeah? In other words, we're eating out of the garbage pan. That's what we're doing. But then again, that is how they are treating us. That is what they say you deserve. You're eating out of the garbage pan. Yeah? Don't. Let's stop doing that now. On the first of Mosiah, we all have the enthusiasm. We all have the gusto, and we all have it on our lips, in our hearts, right? Of the greatness of what this person has done for us. The first of Mosiah. Yeah? We all have it on there. But, this is the crux now. What are we doing to ensure that we are in this mode of reparatory justice? What are we doing to prepare ourselves for this reparatory justice. It's like performing on a stage and they ask you to sing a song. And if you sing that song, you will raise up 1,000 people to make a change for themselves. If you sing that song, so what, can you imagine the type of song that you would be singing for that? Can you imagine how you would be singing that song? Can you imagine not only how, but the intensity that you would feel within your body to actually sing that song? So on the 1st of Mosiah, you have to sing the song. So imagine now you turn up on the 1st of Mosiah and they say, right, sing your song. And then you turn around and say, well, what song are you wanting me to sing? What is it that you want me to sing? And they say, the song that is going to move everybody. Sing the song. And you will ask, well, what song is it that you want me to sing? Because, you're asking me to sing a song, but what song? And they will say, have you not prepared a song for you to sing? Have you not prepared yourself for this? Are you not ready for this? This is the moment. This is the time. And what are you going to say? What are you going to really say to them now? What are you going to say? Oh, I'm sorry, but I haven't prepared anything. I thought that it would be here and then I would just come and, yeah. No. Let me tell you something now, right? Artists out there, athletes, lecturers, any form of professional performance, practice. They practice, prepare, condition. They practice with obsession. They are obsessed with their performance. And the thing is that performance could just be for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20, 30, a full concert, 1 hour. But they are practicing. They are conditioning themselves so that when they perform, it is seamless. It seems such an effortless performance that you would never believe the amount of hours that they have put into preparation, execution, and even the tweaking of the tonality. You would never believe the amount of work that they put in. But yet, you want to turn up on the 1st of Mosiah and make a change? You want to turn up and say, right, now we want you to listen to us? Where's your preparation? Tell me your preparation. Yeah, go on. Look, watch out. 0203-289-6504. What's your preparation? Plan of action. What is your plan of action? I ask you, what is your plan of action? In all truth and honesty, what is your plan of action for your liberation? When are you going to leave outer Babylon? When are you going to leave outer Babylon? And if you think it's a joke thing, don't even think it. Don't even think it.
Yeah. I don't know just so much come out on fire, turn up a lava. I want blazing the real tough General Light Brown. There's a message in the music, okay? You heard. Boy, simple as I write this song for you. Yeah, now I wish nothing but love for you and yours.
Practice, practice, practice.
Hope you're finding a peace with liberty. Yeah.
Welcome to the Grand Risings of Galaxy.
Bring about more love and identity.
Oh, it's a Monday morning now.
To you, spread a little love today. You spread a little joy today. Spread a little love. Spread a little love. All it takes is a little kindness. You don't need no second act to find it. Give a little love. Spread a little love. More love, more love, more love. Oh, as simple as I sing this song today. I would like to appeal to your better nature if I may. Oh, na 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 na. Can we try bring about some synergy? Right energy from right liberty. To bring about more love and identity. I'm a talking to you. Spread a little love to you might not know me. Spread a little joy. I'm bringing some love to you. Spread a little love. Spread a little love. More love, more love. I'm a talking to you. All it takes is a little kindness. You don't need no second to find it. Give a little love, spread a little love, more love, more love, more love. I'm talking to you and queens and kings. Spread your love, that's how my life don't sing. Love save the youth from all the killing. We show the love, it don't cost a thing. Now make we get rid of your racism. For living in a hate, then yo, that a sin. Positive vibes, your rasta man bring. Then love for the fullness, yeah, then winning. I see it and lose and the almighty win. Hatred, make a blue, make a world look him. Love for the light of the world from him. Give a helping and a little short look slip. Love bring your joy, make you keep smiling. Or then I love, make me keep rhyming. Oh, I love, then it's about living. Everything manifesting at the right timing. Sing song, no more gang bang. Too much bang bang, put a rang bang. And then big bang theory. I love it from the almighty creator and live it into all humanity. And that's real and that's true and that's factual. Don't pretend cause you love it comes natural. Then when we divide love, make we unite and be so strong. So let us all get along, let life sing song. Simple as I sing this song today. Yeah, now I would like to appeal to your better nature if I may. Oh, na 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 na. Can we try bring about some liberty? Yes, right energy, upright liberty. To bring about more love and identity. Yeah, yeah. I'm talking to you. Spread a little love to you might not know me. Spread a little love. I want some love to you. Spread a little love. Spread a little love. Yeah. I'm talking to you. All it takes is a little. Do you might not know me? Yeah. To find it. Give a little. Spread a little. Love alone shall conquer you. Spread a little love today, and you spread a little joy today. Love alone. Spread a little love. Spread a little love. Try got nothing but love. All it takes is a little kindness. You don't need no second to find love. Give a little love. Light brown and grass charmer. We're talking to you. Yeah, 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 yeah.
either. Sometimes it's like this gentle, like relentless incrementalism. But I can't stay here. So when Anthony said, but I can't stay here, this is an invitation to create something new, meet myself a new way. But that does mean that perhaps everything you once was familiar with will no longer be. Who am I outside of this experience?
Wow.
So I think I'm asking myself that question real time, real life. And I am framing the habits of mind to tell myself, like, you can't pray with a double mind. So my mind has to be solid even when I'm praying to God. If I'm praying with doubt, I'm the double-minded person in the prayer.
Amen.
So I train myself to remember what is true and then submit myself in that alignment with prayer. But when it's done, whether you're in your prayer closet on your knees or just driving and talking real life, I had to situate my mind on abundance, not the losses that have happened to me, but they have happened, bro. They have happened.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the scariest part about what you're saying is that you don't want to believe that you're going to have to get used to the loss, right? And so it's constant, right? And you're like, oh, grief is something that I have to invite in, and that ultimately I don't want it to be here long, but I have to make it comfortable because I will lose again. I will continue to lose again. So this is a roommate that lives with me now that has residency in my home, you know? And not only that, as we're talking about the pantry, right? You got people coming up to you saying, I'm hungry. I need you to, whatever you got in that pantry, I need you to support me with that, whatever you got up in there. And even if you're in the middle of a rock bottom, breakdown and everything's off the shelves, the skill of Black men is to create with nothing. We have nothing in the pantry, yet we're still supposed to provide and fight against all of the external things that are coming at us. You know what I'm saying? So in doing all of that, right? And then, right, nobody wants to hear about it. We don't want to hear you complain. That's inconvenient. Give me what I asked for. And I'm not saying that is the majority of our relationships, but we are not cared for, right? Therefore, we don't know to care for ourselves well.
I was just thinking,
right?
You're saying like we're not cared for, but sometimes I feel like we put more on ourselves than others do.
Right. All we're seeing is that we are here to produce something, right? We are what we do. And so when you have your foundation shaken, you have your identity and your purpose moved, that place looks like depression. And that is what I'm saying is like, it's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need everyone to know that it's okay, right? To be at the lowest point and just sit,
I look back at my childhood and all the traumas and all the deaths and the fact that I didn't expect to live to be 17 growing up in Brooklyn. I'm just same drama, chaos, broken heart, kids lost, this, the shootings, this. If you could change any of that, I would not change any of it because it made me who I am. And in life, you're gonna have, that's part of life. Nobody's gonna come to life and have everything perfect. Right. So you're gonna have challenges, and it's how you overcome those challenges, and what's gonna make the difference is your perspective on it. And so the life that I live now, I love the life that I live now. But it's because those experiences, those traumas, those negative experiences, those curses, I turned them into blessings. And when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. And so it all comes from perspective.
So yes. Grand Risings, my brother, Grand Risings.
Yeah, Grand Risings, brother, and Grand Rising to the Galaxy family and the listeners out there. Yeah, it's, as I said, I came in late.
Came in late. You came in at the right time.
Right. But yeah, I mean, as I say, I just wanted to see if I can make a little contribution. I mean,
yes.
About the march, and I think, well, yeah, I was thinking how spreading the information, the message.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think we need to develop a different format of spreading the message. Leaflets and other things like that, database or many of our people where we can push the message out.
Okay, then, right. Let me break this down for you a little piece, right, and see if it's in synchronization what you're thinking. Generational. We are different generations that are here now, right? Right. Now I'm born in the 60s. I'm born in the 60s, right? We were used to the pamphlet in the hand and face-to-face talking, right? The invitation like this, right? Going to like presentations and lectures and everything else. Yeah. We are the bastions of our form of education, and as you've noticed over the years that the attendance of a lot of these events has been reasonably lower than what they usually would be. Yeah.
Right. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah.
Right. Now, technology has moved on, right? We have access to online forums and formats, right?
Yeah.
Still, the message that is being given out there and what is being imparted is by the old school, the ones who want to have the meetings and everybody gather together, we all meeting in a hall or at a function or something like this so that we can think. But they're the ones that are giving the message. Unfortunately, to say, they have not moved with the times of the technological development. Right? In other words, we're supposed to be having our own programs using the platforms that are available to us. Right? I.e. that, everyone's moving online and everything else or whatever. We're supposed to be facilitating that along with our live events. So anytime we have an event, there should be access to viewing it online. Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it doesn't cost an extensive amount to put that as an addition. All it takes is just setting up and ensure that somebody's supervising that aspect of it. Right. And the thing is, my brother, right, that people will respect you, and I feel people respect you if you make that effort to make things available in that way.
Well, exactly. That's what I'm thinking about. I'm saying
there you go.
How do we reach the people? Because as I said, I think somehow or the other, the message is not reaching the people as it should. And especially the younger generation.
Well, there you go. And that's the reason why.
It has got to be, something has got to be thought about of how we can market this thing. How can we reach the 2 million of us here? How can we get 2 million of us here attached to the program? As I said, the problem that we have is, okay, like in Marcus Garvey times, the people was in a certain situation.
That's right.
They because we can say it's a good thing that these people want us to be separated. Yes, because when we are separated, then we have to concentrate on each other. But when we're mixed up, we don't. We lose that.
In many ways, in many ways, my brother, I'm saying this in a serious manner, but I don't want to be insulting to anybody. but it's going to sound like I am. But I'm not. That is not my intentions. But we have become very soft. We have become very soft in the way of that many of us, we will talk the talk, but we're not really willing to put ourselves out there to walk the walk. Right. And I will say, and I mentioned it a few shows ago, right? How many of us are willing to stand up to the extent of where we would be arrested and probably imprisoned for what we believe in our convictions? How many of us are willing to do that?
Well, that is so. That is so.
Right? And that is, and I say that is just a measure. And there are an extreme few of us who are willing to go down that road if it has to happen. Right? But remember, back in the times of certain liberation marches, actions, even when literally they had to take control by force, right? They were literally gathered up after their revolution. They were gathered up, and then they were executed. But obviously, when they participated in it, they knew that would possibly be the outcome. But they did it for the freedom of their people, right? Unfortunately, we are become so soft that we are not willing to put our lives on the line, right? Which it does take. It does take that to happen, right? We have demonstrations all around the world, right? Like somebody, it was a few days ago, somebody was arrested. Somebody was arrested, right? And there was just a massive uproar, right? Right? There were I'm trying to think of the time and think of what it was. And out of that repercussion of that person being arrested, right? The police and the authorities killed 4 other people, right? You see, those are the type of things that happen, and it's not no accident. It's not an accident, right? It's literally a war. It's literally a civil action or civil war which is being ensued here. We have to put ourselves into that position. We really do have to put ourselves in that position. And the thing is that, yes, our young people are ready. They are willing. But the fact is, if they don't see a strong, united leadership, they ain't going to be putting themselves out there for that. They're not going to be putting themselves out there for that.
Well, as I said, we have to reach the people, and how do we reach the people? Because, as I said, the fact is that sort of platforms, rallies, whatever it is. But I mean, because these days a lot of things can be done online. One doesn't have to leave their home or whatever. But we need to get this message into the homes. And how do we get the message into the homes? What I'm saying is that, I mean, here's Galaxy. How many people really listens to Galaxy? Right? It's a platform. I mean, I don't know the percentage of people in this country who knows or hears about Galaxy, right? Which is one medium of the message going around.
Yes, this is only just one of them. Is all the radio stations that we have, I mean, the Black community, they all on the same platform. Are they spreading the word? Because, okay, we can distribute the listeners, among all these different stations. Are they, Well, I would say that there are presenters on other stations, right? And they do talk of the reparations. Okay. And they do share it amongst their listeners, right? But remember, it's not every station has a talking space.
Right.
Yeah, not every station has a talking space, right? But those that I know that I listen to, right?
Yeah.
And there's a good like 5-6 main stations in the London area, right?
Yeah.
And they all speak of the reparations.
Okay.
You understand?
Well, that is good. I mean, but I'm saying that is, you see, it needs to be what do you call it, a connection. I mean, I missed the word for that, but you know, a link. You know, between all these stations, in order to be able to say, well, look, you know, we have to put this out there, or the messages come out, or the reparations march committee. Again, I heard Brother Kwame talking about funding. Now, the fact is that, you know, the Green Party, who funds it? It's not just those ordinary people out there. I mean, you have some very rich people who are funding these things.
Of course.
You follow what I'm saying?
Of course.
I mean, these things, you may think, oh, well, these things is against thing, but you have very rich people out there who is funding a lot of these things. Yeah. And Brother Kwame says, you know, £10 from, you know.
And I think that's a reasonable cost. I've said it a few times. I've said that a few times. Anyone and everybody who comes onto the march, they should contribute £10 per head.
Because the people who are working behind the scenes, it's not easy. I mean, the fact is they have their families to look after, and they have to sacrifice time, sometimes traveling and other things like that. They have paperwork to do. They have all of these things, and sometimes people don't realize that there's a cost to all these things, and they need funding. I mean, it's not for free, and too many things that we look at what we want. Oh, if it's not free, you know what I mean? It needs to be free. It needs to be free.
No. That's not good.
The mentality has gone around Africa in a context of NGOs or this and that. You know, people need to wake up. And I say in charity things, I'm saying it's not easy to run these things. It costs money, and that's why sometimes many people set up charities, right? And they set it up because it's a business. It's a business for them because they set up the charity, right? And so if they get £100,000 or whatever it is, what happens is maybe 70,000 of that goes back into the administration and fees or whatever.
There you go. One of the things that we feel that we have failed over the years, right, is that we are living in the ignorance, right, of make do, right, and one of the traps that I feel that we are falling into is allowing other entities to come in and to take over too easy, right? We haven't developed or we haven't mastered the do for self, right? The do for self. If you're a part of an organization, why is it that there is a facility that you can put a portion of your taxation, what you get taxed every year, you can put that towards an organization that you designate.
Well, okay.
Right? Why is it that we have not carved that out and said, you know what, that would be great. That would be a thing that we could do.
Right. Okay. Let me just put it this way. Okay. I'm the founder of the AC. Over the years, I basically had to carry it. Okay. Now, even my wife, sometimes they get fed up with me. You spend all your time in this thing and so on and so forth. But I said, look, you know, this is my hobby. What if I'm not doing this? What will I be doing? Right? You understand me? If I'm not doing this, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't go to these places and so forth. That for me, those are a waste of time. At least this I'm doing something which is valuable. Yeah, I mean maybe because like the day that we set up the organization, I think you probably know the brother because maybe he used to come to the Black Fathers thing quite a lot because he also brought me there one time, you know. And he, in fact, he used to be on the Galaxy. That's how I come to know him, brother Leo, right? And yeah. So what I'm saying is that because of this, you know, time is very important, and you're going around and so forth. And I'm saying, well, okay, here I am. Whatever the money I'm spending, I look at it as say, man, if I could have been going on a pub and wasting time. If I could have been going someplace and wasting time. I put the money into this. You understand what I'm saying? That's my hobby.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's whatever access. I mean, it's cost me thousands and thousands. But the fact is, if over the last 12 years, where would I be putting that money?
Exactly.
What would I be doing with that time?
Exactly. And that's sometimes what it takes, you know. Because like even now I'm formulating a program, right? I'm formulating my own process of reparations. Right? Actions that I feel that needs to be taken, right? For us to put ourselves in a position so that we are ready for this reparation. Right? And of course, most of these things are the things that we should have as fundamental anyway. Right? The information that we should be imparting to each other, right? As a community, the actions that we should be taking financially, right? As individuals and as a community, right? All these things should be laid out, and we should have those blueprints ready to hand so that we can take action upon them. Right? Clarity of action, and you know what? It's not everything that works now is going to work in the future because it needs to be tuned up. Right? Like life changes. Our perspective and our desires are going to be changing as well. But what we need to do right now, the actions that we need to take right now for us to actually to put ourselves on a stable level ground for ourselves is vital, absolutely vital.
Well, you know, the other thing is, right, in every village, I would say every village or every town or whatever it is, where there are people who are part of the Pan-African movement, they need to be setting up something that every month or whatever it is, that they can muster the people in that town or whatever it is. Right? Because the point is that we're there, but what is how are we in touch with each other? Whether we go to the churches where the black people are and pass the message on that we are a community, right? Because yes, they're in the church, but we need that community, whether from different religions, whatever it is, but somehow we need to go and connect those dots with those people so that we all know that, hey, look, we're all in this town and we're from the Caribbean or we're from the thing. I remember, I grew up, when I came here, I was in Ipswich sort of thing, and they had what they call the Caribbean Club. I think it's still there now, right? So at least there was a center. There was a center there. That's right. That's right. You understand me, right? Okay. Although many of the white people take it over because I think it was somebody was talking, or Brother Abu was talking. Look, I mean, the black guys are coming and they all start mixing up. Yes, that was his thing yesterday, isn't it? He was talking about that. Yeah. Yeah, and and next thing all the whites take over. So that's what I also heard about the African Center here. That most of the women used to be there was the white women. The black women were not there. You know what I mean? Because I mean, these men is going with a white woman, and they come in, and of course that's it. But we need something to change that narrative. where as I said, in these, you know, in Peckham, there should be something, a center that that motivates the people in Peckham, you know, that sort of thing, right? Because I mean, traveling across London now is not, but at least you need to have that center, and that is that's something that's needed to cement the people, so that they have, you know, like I drive down the road here, I see the Polish center or the Irish center. You understand what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
No, the people know, hey, wait a minute, there's some place we can go. If we want to talk about our issues, there's some place we can go. If we have problems in our community, there's a place we can go, right? We need to have all these centers in our different parts, you know, where we are, you see? And it can be done, but the point is, and you understand me, but but we need the mindset of the people to be able to do that. And that's how we sort of, join our people together, right? You know, we need something like that. We need something like that joins us. I mean, as I said, you know, and probably part of the reparation. I don't know which organization would be the best organization to set up something like that. And that's what I was talking about. The Pan-African movement really needs to come together to make it one, because I said we won't be joined together in this religion or that tribe or whatever. But the Pan-African movement, you're right, you have people who are Muslims who are Pan-Africanists, you have people who are Christians, you have people who are Rastas who are Pan-African, you have people, you understand what I'm saying? And that should be what unites us. You follow what I'm saying? Yeah. In every district, we should be looking, how can we set up a Pan-African center here in Bristol? How can we set up a Pan-African center in Nottingham? How can we set up a Pan-African center, you know what I'm saying, that caters for our people? So when our people have issues, like, you know, we can say, okay, we have our legal team here to deal with that. We have, you know, you want such and such. And that's what these other people have. These other Indians and so forth. They have all these things that deal with things for their people, that looks into things for their people. So whenever something happens, they can get a crowd out just like that. Yeah.
Because like one of the things I know that we always do this comparison with other races and things like this in our communities, but with us now, obviously we are a fractioned unit, because remember, a lot of those came from the same continent or area, right? So therefore, they have a totally different work ethic to what a lot of us usually would have. In other words, that they would have a foundation of doing for self anyway. Right? Whereas I would say Caribbeans, for instance, I'm just using that as an example. They've always had the work for. Yeah. So therefore, we was on that mindset of working for, find a job, in preference to let's come here, let's create our own business. Yeah. Right. It's only later on now that some who stepped up into that level of working for their own business. And remember as well that the attitude of a lot of people who came from the Caribbean, like for instance in the Windrush time, was I don't need to work. I don't need to do that because I'm wealthy enough now, so therefore I can just go and buy what I want. Yeah. Right. So the aspect of actually.
Right. I mean, as I said, that's what I see. Look, I mix around with people with a lot of money. Right. A lot of money. But when it comes to putting money into our thing, they don't. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't know what is the situation with our people today as compared with those days, but something is lacking. It's, as I say, it's like this independent thing, you know.
And that is what I see. That is what I've seen over the time. Yeah, that we get too comfortable with this working job and work. It's never there's very few of the emphasis of let's start a business, let's be financially independent. Some of us talk of it now, right? You know, the entrepreneurial spirit and all them type of thing there, right? But where was the ethos of it from the beginning of, like, you know, something? We could actually have our own family doctor by having a doctor in our own family. We could have our own lawyers and barristers within our own family, right? Imagine if if your brothers and sisters all came together, right, to support that the young child that was there, to say, right, then let's all put together and pay for his education, right?
But you know something, in Africa, in Tanzania, there's a group called the Chagas, okay? And I'm going to send you
the Chagas.
I think, Chaga, the Chaga tribe. And many times you see business, that's a Chaga over there, because they're very entrepreneurial.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But they also, it's very much like Somalians as well. They're very much like that. And what they will do, as you just rightly said, if in their village there's somebody who's got great potential, they will support that person.
Exactly, and that's the type, yeah.
Right? But the thing is, he must come back in the community. Else
you must work for the community. If we're supporting you, you work for the family.
Yeah, you got to come back and you got to come back and bring something back to the community.
Exactly,
right?
Exactly, and we really need to encourage those type of things there. If we're sponsoring a child, we sponsor a child in Africa, but we won't sponsor one over here. What's that? That's craziness.
It is craziness.
That's craziness.
And the fact is that, I mean, but again, as I said, people need to have that mindset. Look, this is my community. I have to work in. I mean, like Brother Prophet we were talking about the situation in the schools, and where some of the children who were educated in the schools is now coming back into the school to give something back.
Yeah, to give back. Yeah. And rightly so. And rightly so. I feel that's what should be happening. But
of course.
Because
I mean, it's not that you get and now you gone away from everybody. No, you need to come back into the community and help to put something back into the community.
We've opened that level of conversation now, so let's continue that conversation, right? I'm coming to the top of the hour now, so I'm gonna have to change over now, okay?
Okay, all right, yeah.
Okay,
we'll continue another time.
Yeah, man. We'll pick up the conversation on another day, yeah?
Right, but I'm gonna send you some things. Hopefully you get the time to. Okay, then. I know you're very busy, man.
No. I'll tell you what you can do. You can go onto the Facebook. We're on the Facebook, and
I don't run Facebook, so I don't know.
Oh, okay then. All right then.
I can listen on the WhatsApp.
Okay, do it on the WhatsApp then. Do it on the WhatsApp.
But I'll send you something, and this guy Jackdaw, I mean, he speaks so highly of African. It's something you must listen to, and I think it's something also we must play for the people, because they don't seem to realize the potential of Africa and what we have and what we can become.
Okay then. All right.
He is a visionary. As basically, I'm telling you, when you listen to it, you will hear what he has to say.
Okay then. Right. I'll have to go off now. Right. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Right. Yes. You see, dragged me right to the last second. So, anyway, listen. Have a great day. Next up will be our Griot. The Griot Show with our brother Kwame.
Oh, I'm gonna change my mind. So please let me change my mind. I want to change my mind. Change my mind. I'm gonna change my mind. Fire, fire, fire. Give me love, make a love. There's no other one above.
Damn, fresh.
Shawty want $1 million. Say make a wire. Tell me to wanna cover my girl. He say all our friends are living la vida loca. If only me, my lover, yeah, you for there for me. You for there. When the boy they hunger, I go die for you. But you say if you don't get money, hide your face, hide my face. Make another man picking on my race. I love you, no mean say.